Nah, books about love are just not my thing, you know. Just wait a little bit. Bear with me because I think I can prove you wrong. Hi, hello, bonjour. My name is Tina. I love to yap about books. I hope life is treating you well. And today's topic is books featuring love in all its forms, in a lot of genres. So I'm sure you'll find what you need among those books, and I have a lot of books to talk about. If you're like me, you're a romantic, but you struggle to find books that are engaging about love or featuring love, because I'm gonna talk about books that are centering or featuring love. That's why the books I'm gonna mention are not all favorites, but they are the best I've read, and I'm convinced you're gonna love some of them. So to try to keep things short, I'm gonna try to summarize every book in few sentences and leave the details to you if it speaks to you. And also I'm not gonna talk about like very famous trope like fake dating and so on, because I guess it's kind of spoiling already the book. So I'm not gonna do that. So let's jump right into it. The first category is kicking your feet contemporary romance. I'm talking to those who wants pure romance love. And the first book I'm gonna talk about is my favorite Emily Henry book, which is Funny Story. Stay with me. Stay with me for the summary. Daphne's boyfriend, Peter, breaks up with her and ends up with his childhood best friend, Petra. And somehow, because they were living together, Daphne ends up being the roommate of Petra's ex, Miles. Don't look at me, I know this is messed up, but somehow it worked so well. I know this scenario is messy, but it just scratched this itch in my brain, especially because it's dealing with the importance of not forgetting yourself in a relationship, which I think is so needed. It's so needed. Next we have Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, which is my favorite book yet in this trilogy. It is about Brianna, who is an emergency doctor in a hospital, and there is a new doctor coming in this hospital, Jacob, and they don't get along together until one day he leaves a sorry letter at her office, and from there you see how their relationship evolves. And even though this book is not perfect, there are a lot of very famous tropes, but the sweetness of the moments and the yearning of the two characters, and also the fact that it is dealing with very deep traumas, made it all up for the famous tropes, and the fact that sometimes it was just a little tiny bit long. Just be mindful about the fact that it deals with very traumatic events, so check the trigger warnings if you're concerned and worried about those. Other than that, you're gonna kick your feet, for sure. Then we have none other than 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. Eva is writing erotic vampire books, and Shane is an awarded literary author when they meet again after 20 years from their last encounter at a literary event. I don't want to say too much, but this is the perfect adult romance with yearning. If I tell you that they have written about each other's in their book unconsciously for 20 years, is that enough? I thought so. It's enough. Next we have The Christmas Orphan Club by Becca Freeman. It's a holiday rom-com about 4 friends in New York City who sticks to their unconventional tradition of meeting every year for Christmas, even when their paths diverge. And if you want to read a heartwarming, holiday-related friendships, love story, but with a touch of romance, then this is for you. The next category is for the fantasy lovers who wants a more complex world building but with a touch of romance. And the first book is She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. In 1345 China, under the harsh Mongol rule, watched a girl take her brother's name to take back the control of her life in the quest of greatness when she was only destined to nothingness. This book made me go through so many emotions. It's not an easy one to read. Read the trigger warnings, be aware of the trigger warnings maybe, but the writing. Also, the second book in this duology is just as good, even maybe a tad better, according to me. I don't know. Then we have, of course, Priory of the Entry by Samantha Shannon. You follow 4 protagonists in an epic fantasy quest, protecting their interests in a world with dragons threatening to crumble. If you want to read about political intrigues, strong female characters, achingly beautiful love stories, and are not afraid of epic fantasy, then it's for you. Then we have, of course, The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I'm simply gonna read the summary to you because it's just too good. The circus arrives without warning. No announcements precede it. It is simply there, when yesterday was not. It is called Le Cirque de Rêve, and it is only open at night. But behind the scenes, a fierce competition is underway, a duel between two young magicians, Celia and Marco, who have been trained since childhood expressly for this purpose by their mercurial instructors. Don't expect from this book to be action-packed and centering love, even for the other books I mentioned just before in the fantasy genre, but rather a slow-paced, whimsical book about magic, which is perfect for the autumn season. Be aware that there are jumping times, but it is really well done, because I don't like them, and there it didn't bother me. The next category is the cozy fantasy gigglers. Now I speak to the ones who loves fantasy, but doesn't want a brain-consuming, complex world building, and still want to read a giggling love story. First we have Half a Soul, of course, by Olivia Atwater. When she was a child, Theodora was cursed by a fairy, and she cannot feel as the others. She cannot feel embarrassment, she cannot feel fear, and this is happening in Regency era. But at some point she meets Lord Sorcy, who discovers about her condition and wants to help her. So she gets entangled in fairy's quest. It is often said, and I agree, that this is a crossover between Bridgerton and Howl's Moving Castle. So accurate, and you're gonna giggle so many times. That's for sure. If you want to read also from a neurodivergent kind of point of view, perfect for you. Then we have, of course, The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. Kaz is a librarian and she has a companion, a sentient blend named Kaz, and they're forced to flee their hometown, and they flee to Kalia's childhood home, an island. From there she has to start all over again, and she has a very nosy neighbor who wants to help her. It is the perfect sunshiny, grumpy relationship and cottagecore vibes. If you want another feel-good romance, but not only centering romance, it's perfect for you. How not to talk about Emily White's Encyclopedia of Fairy by Ada Fawcett. This is about Emily, who is working on her Encyclopedia of Fairy, and she needs to go north. She needs to go on a journey to gather some more information, but she doesn't know how to behave socially, so she will need help from someone. And the romance on this book is just a side dish, but it's just so good. It's witty, it's funny, I loved the writing. We have also The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sango Mandana. Mikal is a witch in a world where she has to hide her powers because it's dangerous to show them. So in her loneliness, she posts a video on the internet showing off her powers, but she's like, nah, nobody is gonna believe it. But one day she receives a message from a stranger begging her to come teach 3 young ladies, yes, magic. And it's the perfect, also sunshine grumpy relationship with found family. It's heartwarming, it's low stakes, it's just a perfect book to cozy up with. Last but not least, we have Legends and Lattice by Travels Badri. Viv is a battle-weary orc who aims to retire and open the first coffee shop in the town of Dune, but she will go through trials and tribulations for that. It's part of the books that are mainly vibe. It's not high stakes as for the other books in the cozy fantasy genre. You just need to be here to read about mundane things, opening a coffee shop. If you're a coffee lover, I swear, if you cannot smell coffee and pastries like cardamom and cinnamon rolls while reading this book, you can come at me then. The next category is gruesome love. It's one of my favorite. No, I'm talking for the ones who want messy horror story featuring romance. The first one is a newly favorite for me. It's A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. Be ready. Food critic Dorothy loves sex just as much as she loves food, and while she struggles to find a long mid-term partner that can keep up with her, she loves her single. She makes the best of her single life. This is gruesome, I'm not lying to you. I don't want to say too much, but it is such an interesting book about women finding empowerment by themselves, about genre, about feminism, and the writing about gruesome details paired with food. Oh, it's just chef's kiss. I loved it. unhinged woman. Beware. Next we have Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Arnfield. When Leah finally returns from her deep sea mission that ended in a catastrophe, her wife Mickey knows that something's wrong. This one was not a new favorite, but if you love body horror, claustrophobic descriptions, watery descriptions, it is for you, I swear it is for you. Then we have, of course, Slewfoot by Brom. A spirited young English woman, Abitha, arrives at a Puritan colony betrothed to a stranger, only to become quickly widowed when her husband dies under mysterious circumstances. If you love women accused of witchcraft, fighting the patriarchy alongside potential demon entities, then it is for you, I swear. Female rage in its purest form. Then we have one of my favorite, which is These Violent Delights by Mika Nemerever. When Paul and Julian meets at freshman year university in 1970s Pittsburgh, they are immediately drawn to each other. They're complete opposite, but they're obsessed with each other. It's also a dark academia book, but it's a very gruesome love relationship. I couldn't place it in another category than this one. Then we have Notes on an Execution by Dania Kukafka. Ansel is condemned. He is scheduled to die in 12 hours, and we learn his story through the kaleidoscope. It's so hard to pronounce. Through the kaleidoscope of the woman in his life. A mother, a sister, a homicide detective. So this is a thriller that gives the woman's a voice, and that is truly so well written that it makes you ponder on the complexity of emotions and how love can shape your life and how sometimes it's even not enough to save you. Loved it. Last but not least, again, we have Monstrilio by Gerardo Samano Cordova. Grieving mother Maggot cuts a piece of lung from her deceased 11 years old son Santiago. Are we good? Is that enough for you? It's a stunning debut novel about family, abnegation, how to learn yourself. Just so good. Next category is Greek mythology, and we have none other, the pioneer of the TikTok books, and for a good reason. It is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Achilles, the best of all the Greeks, son of the cruel sea goddess Thetis, and the legendary king Peleus is strong, swift and beautiful, irresistible to all who meet him. And then we have Patroclus, who is an awkward young priest who was exiled because of a gruesome crime he committed when he was a kid. They meet each other, they became companions, and even if you know the end of this myth, your heart will still be shattered in million pieces, for sure, because the writing is so beautiful. It is a retelling, of course, but loving it. And we have also by Madeline Miller, Circe. In the house of Helios, god of the sun and mightiest of the Titans, a daughter is born, but she has neither of her parents' powers. She discovers, though, that she has witchcraft. How cool. But when they discover that, she is exiled to a deserted island. Not nice. Not nice. So from there she has to survive. It's such a node to woman empowerment and loving to love yourself, and a touch of romance also. Very beautiful. I'm sure you'll love it. If it's not already the case. And if it's the case, hello, we should become friends. We have the same taste, we are twins. Next category, we have books dealing with romance with an academic setting. These are for the lovers of dark academia genre. I got you. We have one of my favorite books of all time, The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I'm just gonna read to you the first sentence of the book because it got me. I swear, I knew I was gonna love it just from the first sentence, which is: the snow in the mountains was melting and Bunny had been dead for several weeks before we came to understand the gravity of our situation. If you aren't already sold, I got you. A group of friends in a satirical novel about elite academic setting ends and twin together because of one tragic event, and how they cope with it in very different ways with a stunning writing. Then it's for you. I hope I got you now. Then we have, of course, If We Were Villains by Emil Rio. If you're a Nemo type of person, if you're just also emotional, and if you want to read a dramatic book, tragic even, with Shakespeare's quotes, then it is for you. Oliver has served 10 years in jail for a murder he may or may not have committed. And when he's released, the detective on his case wants to know the truth. He's like, okay, now you can tell me. So he's telling him the story of what happened. So if you want to read about 7 young actors in an elite art school incarnating Shakespeare's characters, then it's for you. Then we have Anatomy, a Love Story by Dana Schwartz. In 1817 Edinburgh, Hazel Sinnett is a lady who wants to be a surgeon more than she wants to marry. And Jack Currer is a resurrection man, digging graves. And you will see how their path will cross. Need I say more? Edinburgh, 1817 Gothic story with 2 people who have very different needs but will cross their path. Read it, please. It's one of my favorite YA books. Just as simple as that, as simple as that. We have also Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. Kathy, who is now 31 years old, when she was a child, she used to live in a private school named Halesham in the beautiful English countryside, where they were sheltered from the outside world because they were told that they were very special and that they had a very crucial role too, not only for themselves but also for the society they might enter. So at 31 years old, she's re-encountering her memories from when she was a child, and it's so heartbreaking. Oh, it's featuring friendships and love stories, and it's heartbreaking. It's a very slow book, not action-packed, very character-focused, but so complex in its emotions. The movie also in my memory was very good. Then we have also one of my favorites from last year too, which is Hallowed Be Thy Name by Brooke Winters. Augustus has always been told that the devil lives inside him, but he never thought it was true until a failed exorcism results in his mother's disappearing, biting him to the devil he can only see. He grows up and he meets a classmate named Nathaniel, and together they're forced to work on an assignment, and they pick a very important topic, which is the cult. So they end up making very interesting research about cults and religion. It's such also a stunning debut novel. I was flabbergasted. I didn't expect too much from it, but it exceeded all my expectations. If you want to learn more about cults and want to be invested in very engaging characters with a true academic rival setting, then it is surely for you. It's a horror book and it's hauntingly fantastic. 100%. We have, of course, Bunny by Mona Howard. Such a fevered, dreamy, down the rabbit hole horror book about a girl who, in her MFA program, ends up in a girlhood cult. What else can I say? Maybe that it deals with desire, friendships, and identity crisis? One of the most unhinged book I've read, but loved, alongside A Certain Hunger. They are both fantastic. I'm gonna do a break and recharge the battery of my camera, so sorry for the upcoming change of frame. Alright, I'm back to talk to you about romance in classics books. It's for those who want to try to delve into classic books, but also wants to read about romance, but don't worry, it's not gonna be Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen that I haven't read yet, but I've read Emma, I didn't really like it. So on the contrary, I'm gonna talk to you about White Nights by Dostoevsky. Set in St. Petersburg, this is the story of a young man fighting his inner restlessness. It delves tragically into the torment and guilt of unrequited love. Both protagonists suffer from deep sense of alienation that initially brings them together. It is so short, but so intense. Don't expect to have a full romance story between two characters. It's rather, as it is said, an unrequited love and two characters that are suffering in their inner self and just comes to suffer together, but it is an unrequited love, so it's rather tragic but short and very intense and complex. I have to mention also Little Woman by Louisa May Alcott. Dive into the story of the 4 sisters in the March family. They're living in a poor family and their father is also enrolled in war. You just follow their trials and tribulations. It's also about mundanity and coming out of age, and as I've said already, sisterhood, friendships, and love stories. It's just so good, one of my favorite classic, and the movie is so good too. Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. set in the contemporary Paris of American expatriates. You follow our main character. It's about liaisons and violence and what moral dictates you. And our protagonist, a young man, is caught between desire and conventional morality. It's not one of my favorite because of the writing. I couldn't quite engage with the characters, and I felt that it was a bit misogynistic sometimes. I don't know, not a new favorite. It dives into complex emotions and identity crisis. I know it's a beloved book for a lot of people. I would maybe need a reread someday. Maybe I was not in the mood, but I'm not sure about that, but still would recommend. It could be for you. We have also, of course, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Same, it's not one of my favorites. Do I really need to present this one because it's so well known nowadays? I don't know, but same, it's not one of my favorite. Maybe I was not in the mood for it, but I cannot deny that Mary Shelley was such a pioneer with this book in the science fiction genre, and it deals about creating another living being and what it means to be human, about complex emotions. Such a beloved book that I had to mention it. I have to talk about my favorite mangas featuring romance, 2 hours centering romance also. I need it too. I can't do without it. The first one is The Summer Hikaru Died. It has Hikaru's face, it has Hikaru's voice, even its memories. But whatever came down the mountain 6 months ago is not Yoshiki's best friend. For sure. This is a psychedelic horror manga about the complex relation of 2 boys set during the summer in Japan in a small village. Perfection to my eyes is the anime was also a banger. Couldn't recommend this enough. It's not finished yet, but still recommend it. Then you also have, of course, one of my favorite mangas from last year, A Sign of Affection. Yuki, a deaf student, meets in the train Itsumi, who loves to travel, who studies at the same university as her, and he loves to learn new languages. So he wants to learn sign language with Yuki, and from there you follow them and how the relationship evolves. And I swear, if you want sweetness pouring out of you and giggles, this is perfect. This is about coming out of age, but adult age version. So sweet. Don't overthink it. Just read it. Yona of the Dawn. I need to talk to you about Yona of the Dawn, but do I still need to introduce it to you? I don't know. I talked about it so much. But the yearning in this manga is top tier. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the contrary. Another one of the sweetest mangas I've ever read is Blue Flag. Love is already hard enough, but it's even more complex. For Taichi Chinose and his shy classmate Futabakuse, when they began to fall for each other after their same-sex best friends have already fallen for them. It's such a beautiful series about kind people, love in all its forms, slice of life, high school setting, and coming out of age, identity crisis quest to triangle love, but in the most sane way possible. Then I have a kind of love in all its forms category, more focused because it's not romance per se, but still deals with love. The first subcategory in this category is historical fiction. If you want to still learn things in a political setting, but still be engaged in characters' lives, in fictional stories. You have first The Lion Woman of Tehran by Marjan Kamali, set in the 1930s Tehran in Iran, following 2 girls, 2 very different girls, aspiring different dreams, and how they met, how they're gonna grow apart, but maybe eventually someday meet again. It is about feminism, activism, and the risks you have while engaging in activism and feminism. So well written, and it is not about love in couples and relationships per se, but about love in friendships and sisterhood and girlhood. Loved it. And it's the same for A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini. Mariam is only 15 when she's sent to Kabul to be married by force to a much older man, the troubled and bitter Rashid, who is 30 years old, her senior. Tragedy strikes 15-year-old Layla, who must leave her home and join Mariam's unhappy household. And Layla and Mariam won't get along at first, and you'll see how it's gonna evolve. But it is also about women supporting each other in their tragic destiny, and it is heartbreaking, but in the best way possible, I swear. You might cry, be aware of that, but very beautiful. Then in the subcategory, learn to love yourself, because we all need to learn to love ourselves. It's important. We have Epsom for Wild Build by Becky Chambers, one of my favorite books of all time too, which is about this. They're having an identity crisis also issue, and they become a tea monk. How cute. How lovely is that? I want to be the same. And in her quest, one day she meets a robot in a world where robots got their independence, but he's here. They're there to fulfill their old promise and ask a question, a rather very important one. What do people need? And they're not living till they have their answers. If you're in a period in your life where you need to be validated, if you're wondering what's the point, then this book is for you. And even if you're not there yet, or if you're not there anymore, it's still important to be reminded, okay? And it's super short. You have no excuse. Please read this book. Then you have I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harmon. Deep underground, 40 women live unprisoned in a cage. Nice, isn't it? Watched over by guards, the women have no memory of how they got there, no notion of time, and only a vague recollection of their lives before. It's not an action-packed book. It's rather a spiritual search of finding your purpose kind of book. Only imagine yourself in the head of a girl who never known the life outside and who grew up in this bunker. Does it sound interesting to you? It definitely is, and I definitely recommend this book for you if you want just to see resilience, hope, and learning to love yourself despite everything. This is for you. We have also Open Water by Caleb Azuma Nelson, a literary fiction about two British scholarships students who meet in a bar in London, and they figure that they have one thing in common. They struggle to belong in their private school. It is a painfully beautiful debut novel about how an identity crisis can mess up with your relationship, especially with a focus on racial issues. I struggled a bit with this one because it is narrated from the second person point of view, so I felt a bit distant. It felt a bit messy sometimes, but in the best way possible. So it's not quite a new favorite, but it was very beautiful and interesting. Finally, last but not least, I love this expression, we have non-fiction subcategory, because I truly believe and I truly feel that you don't need to be afraid of non-fiction book and you can have your fun. That's one of my favorite genres, so I got you. I have all-time favorite books here also. The first one being Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer, one of my all-time favorite books, as I've said, and it is a poetic love letter to our Mother Earth and how we should claim back our relationship with nature. It is in the forms of short stories, and it is the perfect balance between the scientific background of the author but also her indigenous origins. A necessary read for everyone. I'm Glad My Mom Died by Janet McCurdy. A tragically beautiful but funny memoir about her struggles as a former child actor, including eating disorders, addiction, and another complicated relationship with her overbearing mother. Mommy issues, we love that. I mean, we don't love that, but we love to read about that in a beautiful way. I sound weird. But mainly this is about how she retook control of her life. This one could also have been in the Love Yourself one, but I wanted to do a non-fiction subcategory, so I listened to this one in audiobook. It was just perfect, but I have no doubt that just reading it is also such a good experience about the book, and I would love to reread it at some point. It was difficult to read because of the heavy topics, but also very, very inspiring. Also, one of my all-time favorite is Finding Me by Viola Davis, and I'll just read the summary of the book because she's written it so beautifully. It's, in my book, you will meet a little girl named Viola who ran from her past until she made a life-changing decision to stop running forever. This is my story. from a crumbling apartment in Central Falls, Rhode Island, to the stage in New York City and beyond. This is the path I took to finding my purpose, but also my voice in a world that didn't always see me. Finding me is a deep reflection, a promise, and a love letter of sorts to self. My hope is that my story will inspire you to light up your own life with creative expression and rediscover who you were before the world put a label on you. I listened to this also as an audiobook and it was perfection. Perfection. It's truly one of the most beautiful books I've ever given to read. I hope you're convinced. Then we have Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. Indie rock star of Japanese breakfast, an unflinching, deeply moving memoir about growing up mixed race, Korean food, and losing her Korean mother, forging her own identity in the wake of her loss. If you want to sob and drool because of food, then this book is for you. 100%, yes. So we're done, punks. I really hope you found new books you want to read. If not, I hope you've read all of them and that you loved them. And if it is the case, let's be friends. We should be friends for sure. Yeah, we have a lot in common. We are twins. Let's be friends. Let's yap about those books, and please recommend me some books if we have the same taste in the comments. So I'm not gonna take more of your time. Thanks as always for clicking, for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed this video and to see you on the next one, but most importantly, as always, thank you for being nice. That's what I appreciate the most about this corner of internet, and with that I have to say bye.